And that's it. The sun is already behind the cloud again. So I'm gonna wait a second here. Hopefully it will show itself a little bit further in a few seconds. And then I have a very, very nice composition here. I'm kind of like in the perfect spot for this shot. So good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm out with my son Sverre again. And you know, if you watch this channel regularly, then you know that I was struggling a little bit to find some inspirational conditions, some nice weather. But the only thing you need to get out of this rut of photography, something like this. Fantastic conditions here in the Netherlands. We had to drive for about 45 minutes to an hour to get here. But we did manage to get the perfect spot here with some early morning dew above the fields here. So let's quickly see if we can find some great images. So we had to drive for about 45 minutes to an hour because you can see on the horizon there's a large cloud front there, and there's also a large cloud front on that side which is illuminating fantastically right now with those red colors. So we're gonna look for a nice subject in front of that colors. Hopefully we can find it in time. But we're in a bit of a gap, a break in the clouds that we're walking in right now. The only problem is that the sun is behind that big cloud there. But we can't go any further because then we'll drive into the next cloud. So this is the area that we're working on today. But I've been here 2 times, I think, in the past. And I think there's more than enough potential here for some great photography. And I have the little guy with me. What more do you want? Good company, good conditions. Every ingredient is here for some lovely photography. On the left side there are a couple of crows sitting on this pole. There's still no sunlight hitting this scene, but we're actually gonna wait here for a while to see what will happen. Hopefully the sun will come out somewhere in a couple of minutes. But just look at those clouds behind us, illuminating fantastically. It just looks amazing, and I'm actually hoping that I can show Sverre, my little son here, some deer. I've spotted a lot of deer here in this area in the past. But the conditions are magical, you know. Like I said, this is what you need when you're facing a bit of a photography rut. You just need some proper conditions again, like this, you know, the middle of summer, it's the 11th of July. And still, conditions like this, fantastic. So we're gonna walk a little bit further. See if there are some more interesting trees there. And this is the crow shot here, just right in front of the path. I hope you saw this image, but I was just trying to compose a scene here with the tree and the radio tower in the back there, when 3 crows sitting on the pole earlier just flew through the scene over here, and I think I caught them mid-flight. I don't think the shutter speed was good enough to get them in focus, but at least it's a nice composition. So this is the shot with the 3 crows, and yeah, amazing conditions, absolutely amazing. So right in the middle of this field here, you can see this lone tree. And the thing I always look for in a tree is a particular kind of shape. And that shape usually decides if I put this tree on the left or on the right of a picture. If you, for example, let me show you the tree on the other side here. You know, if you turn the camera like this tree has a bit of a shape that's turning to the right. So there's more space, more leaves on the right side of this tree than there's on the left side. So I'll always place a tree like this on the left side of the screen. But in this case, this little twirly tree in the middle of the field here, and I'll show you on this camera what I'm trying to say here. So you see, if you look at this tree, I think the shape is so that I would place it a bit like this in my screen. If you place the same tree over here, let's put the focus back on the tree, it just looks different. And sometimes it's something that I just can't explain. Like in this particular case, the tree looks kind of similar on the left and the right side, but still my feeling is that the tree belongs on the left side of the image. You know, and that's something I always try to look for, like which side is the strongest. And there's another one over here on the left side, which is just outside of your image. It's this tree over here. And this is another one that has a bit of a strange shape to it. In this case, I would always place it on the left side, but that's not due to the shape of the tree, but more to the path leading towards it. I don't think it's a great image, but I hope you see what I mean, that in this case the path leads your eye towards that tree on the left side. So usually it's the shape of a certain object or just some leading lines leading towards it that make me decide how I want to put that in my composition. And I was just looking up a little bit, and I hope you can see it, that unfortunately those clouds are rolling in towards us, but it also looks like the clouds over here are coming more this way. So the gap we are walking in is closing in fast. So hopefully we can find a couple of decent images. You know, this one is going to be extremely minimalistic with that little tree here in the middle of the field. But I'm pretty sure it will be a pretty nice image. So just seconds after I told you that those clouds were coming in, just look on the horizon. I hope you can see it, but there's a tiny gap in the clouds that's allowing just a little bit of sunlight to come through. And I'm gonna try to use it with that same tree that I was photographing earlier. So tree on the left, sun on the right. So quickly gonna position the camera here. And the sun is already disappearing again. So I have to act pretty fast. And that's it. The sun is already behind the cloud again. So I'm gonna wait a second here. Hopefully it will show itself a little bit further in a few seconds. And then I have a very, very nice composition here. I'm kind of like in the perfect spot for this shot. So you can see this is the tree on the left. And now the shape of the tree points to the right where that little gap in the sun is, in the clouds, I mean. So this is the shot. Hopefully it works out. And hopefully that sun is going to show itself a little bit more, because we can definitely use some of those magical conditions that I'm always hoping for. You know, he's just enjoying himself. So nice to take out your son on these trips, you know. He's easily entertained with all the spider webs. Just look at it. This is going to be a nature photographer in the future. Wow, absolutely fantastic what we're looking at here. So we just decided to wait. But that gap in the clouds, you know, it's like you got this foggy layer and then you have all these clouds. So it's like a tree in a scene of gray. And then just in the middle of that gray scene, it's opening up with that little bit of light. You know, I couldn't wish for anything better. Yeah, maybe a little bird on that tree. That would be fantastic, but this scene just breathes atmosphere. You know, I don't have to worry about overexposing anything at the moment. And I'm just gonna hope for that sun to pop through that gap in a minute. The gap that you're looking at right now. En dan... Zet die maar terug, jongen. Ik weet niet wat voor rupsen dat zijn. Soms kunnen rupsen prikken. He picked up some caterpillars, but you have to be careful. You have these nasty ones in the Netherlands that cause a burning feeling on your skin, so I had to warn them a little bit. But yeah, I was just hoping for this light to emerge, that fog, and that's what we're waiting for. So that would be absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna wait for a little minute here. And that's it. The sun is already behind the cloud again. So I'm gonna wait a second here. Hopefully it will show itself a little bit further in a few seconds. And then I have a very, very nice composition here. I'm kind of like in the perfect spot for this shot. So you can see this is the tree on the left. And now the shape of the tree points to the right where that little gap in the sun is, in the clouds, I mean. So this is the shot. Hopefully it works out. And hopefully that sun is going to show itself a little bit more, because we can definitely use some of those magical conditions that I'm always hoping for. You know, he's just enjoying himself. So nice to take out your son on these trips, you know. He's easily entertained with all the spider webs. Just look at it. This is going to be a nature photographer in the future. But this is the shot. So thanks for watching this video. I'm gonna end the video right here because it's gonna get way too long to put all the content in one video. So I hope you will join me next week for the second part of this trip, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thanks for watching. If you liked it, please push that thumbs up button, and don't forget there is a subscribe button underneath the video if you like the video. And then hopefully you will see me next week with my son for the rest of this video. Thank you. Bye bye.